Many good-looking men grow up hearing constant praise about their appearance. From childhood to adulthood, people around them say things like, "You're so handsome," "You're going to break hearts," or "Girls must fall for you instantly." These compliments feel good, of course, but they also create an illusion that appearance is enough. Because of this, many never develop the deeper qualities that actually make women fall in love. Being complimented repeatedly on their looks can make them believe effort isn't necessary. They start thinking that being attractive is all they need to succeed in dating, relationships, and connection. But the truth is, women don't build real emotional bonds with a face. They build bonds with character, communication, vulnerability, strength, and personality. A good-looking man can turn heads effortlessly. He can make people admire him without trying. But attention is not the same as attraction. Attraction is not the same as connection. And connection is not the same as compatibility. Handsomeness can open the door, but it cannot hold the door open. When a man relies only on his physical appearance, he often doesn't learn how to truly communicate, how to express what he feels or understand what a woman feels. He doesn't learn how to lead a conversation, how to show interest, how to show empathy, or how to build emotional intimacy. These skills come from experience, from effort, from facing rejection, from learning how people think, and from growing as a person. Ironically, average-looking men tend to develop these skills more naturally because they never had the luxury of relying on appearance alone. They had to learn how to be funny, how to be confident, how to hold conversations, how to approach women, and how to build value from within. Their success comes from personality, not appearance. Meanwhile, a very handsome man may struggle simply because he never had to try, and now he doesn't know how. When a handsome man finally meets a woman he genuinely wants, someone he sees as rare, special, or deeply appealing, he suddenly realizes something shocking. His looks don't guarantee anything. She expects effort, intention, confidence, and emotional presence. She wants someone who knows how to express himself, someone who listens, someone who makes her feel safe and understood. If he doesn't have these qualities, she won't choose him just because he's attractive. Women want more than a perfect jawline. They want a man who knows how to make them feel emotionally connected. What many good-looking men don't understand is that the girl they want is not impressed by looks alone. She's impressed by depth. She's impressed by consistency. She's impressed by a man who knows who he is beyond his appearance. Without these inner qualities, a man may be admired from a distance but never chosen intimately. In this way, relying too much on looks becomes a silent weakness. It gives a man confidence on the outside but insecurity on the inside. It makes him visible but not memorable. It helps him attract attention but not affection. And ultimately, that's why many good-looking men struggle to get the girl they truly want. Good-looking men often don't realize how intimidating they appear to many women. When a man is extremely attractive, people assume certain things about him automatically. Things he never asked for, never created, and often doesn't even know exist. Many women look at a handsome man and think, he must already have a girlfriend. He probably has so many women chasing him, or he won't take someone like me seriously. Instead of seeing him as a normal guy, they place him on a pedestal made of assumptions and insecurities. This creates a silent distance long before any real conversation can happen. The result is that many handsome men get far less genuine attention than people assume, simply because women talk themselves out of approaching or showing interest. Women fear rejection just as much as men do, sometimes even more. For many of them, approaching a man who looks like a model feels risky, almost like setting themselves up to be hurt or ignored. Instead of flirting, they avoid eye contact. Instead of smiling, they remain distant. Instead of starting a conversation, they hope he does it first. The man mistakes this distance for disinterest, but in reality, it's insecurity. A woman may like him deeply, yet feel invisible next to him. She might assume he wants someone on his level, whatever that means in her mind. And because of this, she never gives him a chance to even see her interest. Another problem is that attractiveness can sometimes look like arrogance even when it's not. A good-looking man might simply be shy, introverted, or quiet, but women may interpret that as him being too full of himself or too good to talk. His neutral face might look like confidence or superiority, so the women who would normally approach him stay away, thinking he's unapproachable. Meanwhile, he stands alone, confused about why no one talks to him despite all the attention people think he gets. This intimidation factor becomes even stronger with the women he truly wants. Often, the woman he's drawn to is confident, elegant, smart, or emotionally mature, qualities he admires. But these same women tend to assume handsome men are unreliable or not serious. They don't want to get involved with someone who looks like he attracts too much attention. They fear competition, drama, or heartbreak. They assume he is the one who chooses and they are the ones who must wait to be chosen. So they protect themselves by staying distant. Paradoxically, average-looking men can seem more approachable, more human, less intimidating. Women can relax around them, show interest openly, and let their guard down. Handsome men do not get this advantage. They face a silent barrier built from assumptions and insecurities, not because of who they are, but because of how they look. This is why many good-looking men struggle to connect with the woman they genuinely want. It's not that she doesn't like him, it's that she doesn't think she has the right to show it. The intimidation he never intended becomes the wall that keeps him from the relationship he truly desires. A surprising challenge many good-looking men face is the habit of expecting women to make the first move. This expectation doesn't come from arrogance. It often comes from experience. Throughout their lives, attractive men receive attention without trying. Women stare at them, compliment them, laugh at their jokes, and sometimes even approach them. After years of this, they begin to believe that interest should come naturally, effortlessly, automatically. So when they finally meet a woman who genuinely impresses them, someone who feels different, someone they truly want, they fall into the same passive pattern. They wait. They hope she notices. They assume she will show interest the way other women have. But the problem is, the type of woman they want usually isn't the type to chase. The woman they desire most often has standards. She values confidence, leadership, and clarity. She expects a man to show intention, to initiate, to express interest with maturity and courage. She doesn't chase because she doesn't need to. She respects herself too much to do all the work. So when a handsome man stays passive, she interprets it not as humility or shyness, but as a lack of interest. She doesn't know he's waiting. She doesn't know he's hoping. She only sees silence, and silence to her means he simply doesn't care. Meanwhile, the men who actually win her attention aren't always better looking. They're the ones who take action. They're the ones who walk up confidently and speak with clarity. They're the ones who make their intentions known respectfully and directly. Women respond to effort far more than appearance. A man who takes initiative sends a powerful message. I choose you out of everyone. That is something no amount of physical beauty can replace. It creates emotional impact, and emotional impact builds attraction. Good-looking men often lose out because they underestimate how much initiative matters. They think being handsome is the move, as if their appearance is the signal that should speak for them. But attraction doesn't work like that. Women appreciate beauty, but they fall for behavior. They fall for courage, for consistency, for presence. A handsome man standing silent across the room cannot compete with an average man who approaches with confidence and real interest. Another problem is that attractive men fear rejection more than people realize. Because they weren't used to pursuing, rejection feels unfamiliar and uncomfortable. Many fear damaging their image or being told no by someone they deeply admire. So instead of trying, they stay quiet. Instead of expressing interest, they hope she notices. Instead of making a move, they wait for the perfect moment, which often never comes. So the woman he wants walks away, assuming he didn't care. He walks away assuming she wasn't interested. And a connection that could have been powerful never even begins. This is why good-looking men must understand that real attraction requires initiative. Looks can open doors, but only action makes someone walk through them. Many good-looking men grow up receiving so much attention for their appearance that they unintentionally neglect the deeper qualities that make a man truly irresistible. When the world constantly praises your looks, you begin to believe beauty is your identity. You start thinking it's enough. But what actually wins a woman's heart is not appearance, it's depth. Emotional intelligence, ambition, self-awareness, maturity, purpose, and character are the qualities that create real connection. And these qualities must be built, not gifted. A handsome face may attract someone for a moment, but depth is what keeps them for a lifetime. The problem is that attractiveness can create a comfort zone. When someone is used to getting compliments just for existing, they don't feel the same urgency to improve themselves. An average-looking man often works harder on his confidence, his communication, and his personal growth because he had no choice. But a good-looking man might never have been pushed to develop those qualities. He might have learned to rely on his appearance instead of his presence. He might think that being charming is the same as being emotionally available, or that being admired is the same as being valued. These misunderstandings hold him back without him even realizing it. Women want a man they can connect with, a man who listens, who understands, who stays calm in difficult moments, who has direction in life, who knows how to express himself without fear. Beauty cannot replace emotional depth, and many handsome men lack that depth simply because they never had to grow it. They were so used to attention that they never learned how to be vulnerable. They never learned how to communicate honestly. They never learned how to be patient, how to understand a woman's emotions, or how to build trust slowly. These skills might sound simple, but they are the foundation of attraction that lasts. When a truly attractive woman meets a handsome man, she evaluates more than his looks. She pays attention to his energy. Does he have emotional control? Does he have purpose? Is he consistent? Is he dependable? Is he mature enough for a real relationship? If all he brings to the table is his face, she loses interest quickly. She may admire his appearance, but she won't choose him for a serious relationship. Women want a man who makes them feel emotionally secure, not just visually impressed. This lack of depth also leads to another problem: insecurity. Many good-looking men fear showing their true selves because they believe their looks are their only strength. So they hide their flaws, hide their emotions, hide their true personality. But real connection requires authenticity. A woman cannot fall in love with a mask, no matter how handsome it is. In the end, depth is the real currency of attraction. Handsomeness may create spark, but depth creates gravity. And without gravity, nothing stays. This is why so many good-looking men struggle. They focus on being seen instead of being understood. They shine outwardly but remain empty inwardly. And women feel that emptiness instantly. One of the biggest struggles good-looking men face is the inability to recognize who genuinely likes them and who only likes the idea of them. When someone is very attractive, people often project fantasies onto them rather than seeing who they truly are. Women may flirt, smile, or show interest not because they appreciate his personality, values, or character, but simply because he fits an image they desire. This creates confusion. He receives attention but not clarity, compliments but not sincerity. And this constant mix of real and superficial interest makes it incredibly difficult for him to understand who actually cares about him as a person. A handsome man learns early on that people treat him differently. Some women act overly sweet, overly excited, or overly eager around him. Others act cold, distant, or even rude, not because of who he is, but because of how he looks. He never gets a natural reaction. Everything feels exaggerated. So when he meets a woman he really likes, he struggles to interpret her signals. Is she being nice because she's genuinely interested? Or because she finds him attractive? Is she shy because she likes him? Or because she's intimidated? Is she distant because she isn't interested? Or because she assumes he won't take her seriously? Every reaction becomes a puzzle with missing pieces. This uncertainty affects him more than people realize. Good-looking men often feel misunderstood because people don't relate to them authentically. Women may love the exterior but pay no attention to the soul inside. Instead of asking about his dreams, they compliment his smile. Instead of wanting to know his story, they comment on his appearance. Instead of seeing his insecurities, they assume he has none. This makes him feel unseen, even though everyone is looking at him. So when he finally meets a woman he wants to build something real with, he feels lost trying to read her. He fears getting attached to someone who only values the surface. This confusion also leads to hesitation. If he can't identify genuine interest, he becomes overly cautious. He doesn't want to pick the wrong person. He doesn't want to be used, admired for the wrong reasons, or treated like an accessory. So he holds back. He waits for clearer signs. He tries to protect his heart, but in waiting, he often loses the opportunity. The woman who truly liked him assumes he's disinterested. She moves on. Meanwhile, the women who only liked his looks continue to chase him, making it even harder for him to distinguish authenticity from attraction. Average-looking men rarely face this dilemma. When a woman likes them, it's usually because she's drawn to who they are, not how they look. But a handsome man must navigate layers of performance, projection, and illusion. He must look deeper to find real connection. And that journey is more complicated than people think. This is why many good-looking men end up with the wrong girl, or no girl at all. They cannot easily tell who values their heart and who values their appearance. They are surrounded by attention, yet starved for authenticity, and until they learn to identify genuine connection, they will continue to lose the girl who actually cared for who they truly are.